Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of God Built This Podcast. I'm your host Maxine and we're on episode 53. All right, so I want to get into more of the topic that I've talked about before. That's about boundaries and how to vocalize your boundary, how to vocalize how you deserve to be treated as a human being. You know, what are your boundaries? What are your standards? What will you not put up with? Etc., etc. Now, oftentimes as a teacher, this is something that you would practice. Like, I am a teacher, I'm an educator. I find myself constantly reiterating to students here and there, but constantly making it clear the directions, constantly making it clear my expectations and what I am holding them accountable to, right? There's no confusion, there's no lack of clarity. Everything's also posted on the board. I reiterate it through my words, and I also have a few of them repeat back to me what I just said. Because as a teacher, and this is just for the teachers out there who get what I'm saying, but sometimes when you speak to a student, you go over the directions, you go over what the assignment is, and they'll still look at you like, dude, you know? But when another student who is their peer repeats back to you what the assignment is, what the expectations are, they are more likely to hear and understand and follow through. Because I think it's something psychological too. When they see their peer following and repeating the expectation and following through with it, they're more likely to follow, right? So anyway, I say all that to say, I make it very clear to my students what my boundaries are. I make it very clear what the boundaries are within the classroom, what the expectations are for an assignment, for your behavior in my class, and what are the consequences to not following that, right? So if you're not studying, if you're not doing the work in class and not completing homework, if you're not doing the bare minimum of being a fucking student, then there will be consequences to that, such as parent phone call, parent meeting, a failure in the grade, right? A failure in my class, etc., etc. But there are always consequences to not meeting the expectation for my class, for my syllabus, for my subject, okay? I say all that to say, this is the same practice that I am actively doing within my relationships with people. I am seeing so much growth in myself that I'm so proud at how vocal and how clear I am when it comes to my boundaries, my expectations, and what I will not tolerate from people, right? I will not negotiate with your level of disrespect towards me. And I see that, and I've said this before, I've talked about this before, but I see that when you're vocal about your boundaries, the people who are uncomfortable with following through and following boundaries, they will show their ass and they will make it very clear to you that they're not at all someone you need in your life, right? Or someone who you need to be close with in your life. And this goes to everyone, not just like close relationships. This goes to colleagues, acquaintances, bosses. I won't say superiors, but those who are in a higher position than you and those who may have your job in the line or in their hands or whatever. It is still very necessary to hold yourself to that integrity and make it clear you crossed the boundary, you disrespected me, I didn't like your tone. I want you to clarify when you said this because it came off this way, blah, blah. There's still an expectation you should hold yourself to as a human being, as an individual who deserves respect, no matter whom you feel disrespected by. So I say that because I experienced another occasion with a colleague of mine who was trying to see if I'm about it, okay? If I am about it. And let me tell you something. A bitch is about it, okay? I am so proud of myself. And I'm gonna say everything that happened in the detail that I want to share, but I'm just saying that I'm proud of myself because I remember there was a time not too long ago when I was afraid to speak up, when I would allow those to kind of treat me any old way. And, not just in my adult years, but also in my childhood, I wouldn't be as vocal as I am now. So it feels like I am standing up for that inner child of mine. It feels like I am speaking up for her. And I'm so happy with that. And oh my gosh, it gets me emotional because I think about, I was home like a couple of days ago for a long weekend I had. And I was going through a photo book, why'd I say it like that? A photo album. And I saw a picture of myself when I was 6 years old. And it's an old school picture when you look at the back of a photo and it says your name and the age and the year of the photo. Like, this is so old. It was a Polaroid. It was back in the day. So I was 6 years old in the image, and I was sitting down on the stairs in my house, the same home that I go to when I go home to Boston. And I was sitting on the stairs and I was giving my pose and I was smiling to the camera, and I see myself. Like, it's me, of course, but I see myself still. Like, there isn't a confusion of who is that person. That's me still. And I have to remember her as I continue to grow and get older, because I remember who I was when I was younger, and I'm still the same old mama, I'm still the same old Maxine, but I just remember being younger and not, maybe not feeling like I had the agency to speak up and say, hey, that wasn't okay, or hey, what you did wasn't nice. And it's weird because I would still feel uncomfortable to speak up, and sometimes I would be a doormat, but then other times I would speak up about things that would happen around me, and I would be shushed, I would be put down, I would be dismissed, yet I would still find ways to still speak up and be controversial, not subconsciously, but kind of like, y'all don't see abuse happening around me and no one's gonna say shit? Okay, let me say shit. Like, I was that kid. So a lot of things being swept under the rug was not to my enjoyment, and I would try to speak up as much as I could. And I just remember being that little girl again, and there was just a fire in my eyes. There was just like, I don't know how to explain it, but there was just like excitement, this like attitude I had in my face that like, yeah, like, I think about her, I think about me, that's me. And I want to continue to remember who I was when I was young. And when I am operating in this age that I'm at right now, in this space that I'm at, in this mindset that I'm at, I still want to hold reverence to that inner child, to my inner child. And I'm sharing this because I want you guys to see or remember when you were younger. I want you to remember a time in your life when you wasn't as vocal, or when you were vocal and maybe you lost your voice along the way. And the person that you are today, how can you be more of who you was or who you wanted to be when you were younger? And I hope I'm making sense to everyone. But it was a moment that I needed to have when I was looking through the photo album and I saw that picture, I got emotional. And I was by myself in my home. And I was just like, let me just look through the photo album while no one's home. And I was just looking through it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is me. This is me. And the energy that I had in that photo, in that moment, it felt like it beamed into my present. It felt like the spirit that I had in that moment somehow got into me today, and in that moment that I had to just keep my 6-year-old self alive. So anyway, let me talk about the moment I had at work when I felt like, okay, niggas tried me, you know? And also I think about, like, I'm the same person. Like, I'm so fucking dope. No, but seriously, like, I have the same smile. I have the same facial feature. Like, it's just so funny. Like, I want you guys to, like, take a moment and look back to old photos and try to see yourself today in the child that you once were. Okay? That's your assignment. And let me know. But anyway, so I'm a teacher, like I said. And we have a shortage of printers at my space, and I already had my print job queued up to be printed right after another job. I'm not waiting in the printer room because why would I need to? No one will be so selfish enough to skip my job, huh? No. So I go back to my classroom. I'm giving it like maybe 20 minutes, and then I return to the teacher room to see the status of my print job. But then I notice someone's job is suddenly before mine, and this person was not in the line, was not in the order of the print jobs. I was right after somebody else, and somehow this person came before me. Oh, so for those who are not teachers, need to understand this is fighting action. Oh, you want to mess with the copies that I'm trying to make for my class? Oh, is that what you want to do? You want to fuck up my day? Because I'm not going to have enough copies. There's probably going to be a jam in the printer. And I'm pissed because you thought it was okay to skip and disregard my print job. That's not okay. So you know what a bitch did? Because you want to not say shit and skip my job. I'm going to put my shit right back to where it was. Yes, the fuck I am. Uh-huh. Yes, I am. Yeah, you heard me? Yeah. So I put my stuff back, and she comes back into the workroom talking about, oh, it looks like somebody want to skip jobs or change priority on the job. And I'm like, well, actually, bitch, when I pull up with the actually receipts, please walk away. I'm at the place of business, and I do not want to go there, but we could go there because what you're not going to do is disrespect me. Okay? So now in this moment, I'm feeling the spirit of my inner child. I'm feeling my stomach rumble, okay? I'm feeling the heat in my hand become hotter and hotter. Sweat is perforating around my temple. A bitch is getting hot. What do you want to do? What's up? I'm from Dorchester. What's up? Anyway, my point is, I said that I was like, look, actually, my job was first, and it looks like you skipped my job, so it's back to where it was. So she want to give. It is funny. Some people like to give attitude in a not obvious way, but it's still clear. If you could read between the lines, you're giving attitude. So she's like, well, you think I care? I'll just skip every job over here. You think I won't wipe off? I'm like, Please do that. I want to see you do that. So I'm like baiting her, doing the same thing right back. Like, okay, yeah, all right, sure, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, you'll do that. All right, please do. Go ahead, Like, go ahead, please do that. So she wanna act like she has the authority, the technical authority over the printers to delete my job, which you don't have the authority to anymore. We don't have that authority to just delete other people's print jobs. And I'm like, yeah, you actually can't do that. So she was trying to threaten to see if I'm gonna flinch. Like, no, you actually can't do that. Oh, you think I can't do that? I'm like, no, you actually can't do that. And mind you, I'm the type of person, I'll get loud with you right back, but before I get loud, I am calm as a feather, but I'm getting you together. I'm gonna say it again. I am calm as a feather, but what? I'm getting you together. Calm as a feather, getting you together. Okay, seriously. But when I get loud, that's how you know, oh shit. Whoa, I was just playing. I'm gonna act like this is all a joke. You know how people are so quick to be like, damn, why are you always so sensitive? Dang, you can't take a joke? No, bitch, I can. What I can't take is disrespect. What I can't take is you acting like it was a joke, but it wasn't. You wanted to see how far you'll go, and this is how far you're gonna go. Nowhere. Okay. So please try again. So I'm saying that to her, like, pretty much like, yeah, you actually can't. Like, making her feel stupid. Her face is kind of get pink or whatever. I'm like, okay. And she's like, you think I won't? So she starts not touching, but like acting as if she's about to and that's a key detail. Acting as if she was about to touch copies around me that she may have thought were mine. They weren't mine because mine was still printing. So I'm like, all right, just stop. Like, I'm mad. I'm mad, very straight to the point and clear. I'm not being cute. Okay, just stop. I'm not doing that. I'm not smiling. I'm not even giving you like a giggle. You know, some people, they speak with the giggle. Sometimes I do that too. But no. Nothing is funny right now. A bitch is serious. No. Stop. Okay, stop. I'm like, okay, stop. All right, stop. That's what I'm saying to her. And so she's like, you think I give a fuck? Yeah. You think I give a fuck? Do you think I give a fuck? That is what she is saying to me at a place of business. And I'm just trying to see, at what point do I get crunk? Right now or later? I'm trying to see, at what point do I get up and hit you in the face right now or later? Tell me the point in time in which I do that, because right now is not it. Hey, what do you want? Okay, so I'm saying this to her. No, I'm not saying this to her. I'm saying, all right, stop. Okay, you're doing too much. All right, stop. All right, okay, stop. That's what I'm saying to her. She says the whole, damn, you think I give a fuck? I'm like, she was like, I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Right back. I'm like, okay, I don't give a fuck. And I'm posturing up. I'm not standing up actually, but like I'm sitting down because I'm calm as a feather, but my posture is straight. I'm not hunched over. I'm sitting up. Look, I don't know what could happen, but at the end of the day, I will get you together if need be. And we will have a conversation with human resources if that needs to go there. But let me tell you, what you're not going to do is punk me and think that it's okay. That's not going to happen. Nope, not doing it. So she walks off, and I'm still in the copy room because I'm going to sit by my print job before anybody else tries to skip my job. Okay? No. So I go ahead and sit down, and I'm like, I'm still kind of getting hot because I'm pissed off that you thought that this was okay to speak to me this way. I then go to her room, and I was like, look, don't ever speak to me like that again. Don't ever speak. And she's standing up and looking at me. I'm like, yeah, don't swear to me like that again. I'm being very respectful right now by coming to you one-on-one and letting you know, don't ever swear to me like that. Period. Because that's what you're not going to do. You're not going to swear at me. Don't say fuck anything. I don't care. No. Especially not in that tone. Not at all. So she then goes off and say, Maxine, think I give a fuck? I don't give a fuck. You could actually get the fuck out you came to my room with this. I'm like, yeah, I came to your room with this. What you're not going to do is talk to me this way. You're disgusting. And like, straight like that. No. And I'm like, oh, so you're not going to listen. Mind you, I came up to her very, professional enough where you lucky I'm coming up to you one-on-one and not in front of other people. So she's obviously pissed off, swearing right back. And I'm like, well, I'm swearing a little right back to her too. And I'm saying I don't give a fuck either, whatever. And I'm going to let your coach know, whatever. So I say all that to say, stand up for yourself. No matter who it is, no matter where you are, you matter. You matter. Your opinion matter. Your print job matter. Respect matters. And if anyone is at all challenging you, you have the right to let them know, bitch, no. Bitch, no. That's it. So I just feel like oftentimes we find ourselves in environments that we can't control per se. Like, I can't control who my colleagues are. I can't control every person around me, right? I can control who my friends are. I can control who I share personal information with, but I cannot control control everybody every time. That's just the at the end of the day, okay? And I am aware of that, and I'm also saying that in spite of the lack of control I have of certain environments, I still can have control over how people treat me. It's an old saying, but you really do teach people how to treat you, okay? You tell them, you make it clear what you said, what you did. I am not tolerating it. I did not deserve it. And I will no longer speak to you. I will no longer fucks with you, period, if you can't understand that. And that's it, right? There shouldn't be a back and forth. There shouldn't be confusion, none of that. The people who are mature enough and who are healthy enough in who they are, like not non-toxic people, will be able to receive that and adjust accordingly. Okay? I had a situation, it wasn't that big of a deal, but there was a moment I had, a brief moment with another colleague who, I think in his gay, black, male energy, he thought he was being funny, but it was just a little too much. And I wasn't okay with it because, one, nigga, I don't know you like that. And it's nothing personal. It's just like, I don't know what you're trying to say. I don't know if you're trying to be shady. And I'm not tolerating any type of shade with a colleague. It's like, okay, it's cute in a moment, but like when you're continuing to be shady, then I'm not, no. Well, let's address it and let's move on. And that's what I did. There was something that he said about the damn print job again. Something about these printers at school. But anyway, when I spoke to him, I was like, hey, I don't really like when you can you like never speak to me like that again? Like I said it just like that as well. And he was receptive. He heard me, and it hasn't been awkward ever since. We moved on. It was done. And that's the type of energy that I would appreciate from everybody whenever there are moments to set that boundary. It is awkward to tell someone, hey, I didn't like when you said that, or hey, I don't appreciate being talked to that way, blah, blah, blah. It makes you feel like, dang, or you're controlling who I am, or don't tell me what to do, get over it. I get all those feelings, but I also understand that it's unhealthy to tell someone what is okay for them to tolerate. Like, you shouldn't have any agency around who should or what type of behavior they should accept or whom should they accept it from. I have a friend who, and she may be listening, hey, who let me know that saying the word bitch in reference to her, like, hey, bitch, yes, bitch, like, how you say things like that, how many women in 2019 and for a while now have been using the word bitch, but in an endearing fashion, right? In a very comforting homegirl, sister girl fashion. But she does not like that word. She does not like to be addressed as such. And she told me that she wasn't rude. She wasn't stink with it. She was very clear. And she was very, very straightforward about what, she was very clear and she was very straightforward about what she did not like. And I received that. And I was like, wow, okay. Someone just set their boundary to me. And I could be honest, in that moment, I felt like a ting, like a little tinge, like, oh, dang. And I only felt that tinge because, damn, I wonder how many times throughout our friendship have I said that word to her. Like, I wonder how many times have I called her a bitch and she never said anything. And I'm just like saying it so casually and she's like cringing. In that moment, I'm like, oh my God, I feel so awkward. How can I be around her anymore? Not like that, but like, how can I? Because she's still my friend, but I was in that split second, I felt like, oh my gosh, I have to watch what I say, every little word. Because I say bitch so casually. Like I say nigga, I say it so casually, it just rolls off my tongue. But I do forget to realize that not everyone comes from the same background as me. Not everyone says the same type of language, and that's okay. It's just okay. What you're comfortable with is what you're comfortable with, and I will refrain from using that word to you. And that's fine. And we are still friends, And I respected that she said that to me. I respected that she cared enough to let me know, because it showed that, okay, we have a friendship. There is a desire to still be friends with me and to still build this friendship despite maybe me using that word to some other people. Like, she could have been petty enough and been like, okay, she used that word too much, I'm not gonna hang around her. But instead, she vocalized what she didn't like and she let me know, so I think that was dope. But I say all that to say, we have to be vocal, no matter how uncomfortable it is, and no matter how uncomfortable the other person may feel. You still have to test it out and see, look, if someone can take it or not. I had one I had one coworker who was able to take my boundary setting, while I had another coworker who was not able to do that, and that's fine. You see who can accept it and you adjust accordingly. Now, tell me why this bitch ass coworker, she was like, a few days passed, and mind you, I'm not talking to you. Like, I'm to the point where when you disrespect me and you can't be adult enough to own up to it, then I'm not interested in having any time. Like, please stay over there. Like, there's no reason for us to communicate. Like, stay over there. Okay? So that's my take on it. And it's clear that she has gotten away with such behavior, and there have been people in her life who probably have pacified her and coddled her to be this type of person. Okay? She said good morning to me, acting as if nothing happened. And it's like, no, let's not act like we didn't just recently have a cuss fest, and you want to act like a good morning will just pass it over. No, bitch. You deserve to, to own up to what you did, and we can move forward. But I'm not interested in just acting like nothing happened. Like, no, I've been through that too many times in my life where people will just kind of put things under the rug, and it's harmful. It's dangerous, and it shows there's a lack of respect to both people in the relationship, that, hey, I don't respect myself enough to set this boundary, and you can continue to disrespect me, and we're going to act like it never happened. And hey, you don't respect me enough to let me know my behavior is awful and that I should, be better. I should be a better fucking human being. Okay? So that's what I'm not going to tolerate. Yeah, and I think it's important for us to set boundaries. I'm gonna scream that till my ears fall off. Setting boundaries lately have really serviced me, has really benefited me extremely, and I wish I would have done this long ago. But I'm so grateful that I'm in the space where there's no turning back. I have to speak up for myself. I have to make it clear how I feel and how you should treat me. And that's that. There's no negotiables, And I just think that comes with age as well. So I encourage everyone to do that as they continue to get older and wiser. Check your relationships. Are you allowing people to be toxic to you, and you're not saying shit because, oh, well, that's just who that person is. That's just how so-and-so is. No, so-and-so is toxic and needs therapy. Get so-and-so some type of Iyanla help. Like, no, I'm not dealing with that. Stop, cut the shit. Hey everyone, please support God Built This podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/GodBuiltThis. You can pledge to pay $5 or more monthly. Any amount is appreciated. Your money goes towards production costs of the show, and you'll have exclusive access to content that will only be released on patreon.com/GodBuiltThis. That is patreon.com/GodBuiltThis. Now let's get on with the show. Okay, so I want to get into my Boston Bay. Let me explain myself. Okay. So this is the same nigga who I talked about on here recently about how we kind of, we've been rekindled for a little while now, and we've always had like a history of just kind of being on and kind of off, but always on at the same time, if that makes any sense. So like, we will always find our way back to each other, and we wouldn't be off each other for too long. And it just kind of worked out with us because we weren't ever exclusive, but as more time has increased between us, there's more feelings, there's more respect and love that we have for each other. Oh my God, I'm saying love. I'm not saying like that. But my point is, like, I love him as a person, right? I love him as, he's a good person. Like, and he expressed the same to me. it's mutual. I don't know about the whole in love thing yet. Well, we'll see. We'll fucking see. But my point is, there is feeling there that is strong and that is mutual between us. I can't deny that. And that explains our way to always find our way back to each other. Anyway, not to be sentimental, but to be sentimental. But just recently I was home for the long weekend I had. And we spent a good time together. And it was so different, but in a good way. There was this intensity to see me. There was this pursuit to be with me and just be in my presence that I didn't see earlier on. And I recognize that he is someone who is not vulnerable off top. I think that makes sense, right? But he's not someone who just wears his heart on his sleeve. But when you spend time with him more, when time continues to grow between us, he shows more of himself and he continues to unveil himself. And when he continues to unveil himself, I just love that. I love the comfort that we have with each other. I love the vulnerability that he shares and opens up to me. He's been through a lot of stuff in his life, a lot of trauma, and it feels good that he feels comfortable to share, and I could talk to him, and it's good. It feels good, you know? So I'm saying that because, nigga, I still don't fucking know. But I don't know. I just think it's so interesting between us how we continue to progress, and yet I don't feel like there's a desire from me, at least, to want to figure out, okay, so what are we, type of thing. And I used to be so gung-ho about okay, am I your girl? What's up? Because I, used to be so stuck in the mindset of, okay, we have to have a title, we have to be this, we have to be very clear in our relationship or whatever it is. And because now I am no longer in that mindset, and because now I live here in Houston, it doesn't, I'm not pressed to try to figure out exactly what the fuck we are. I think we are what we are. And when the time comes to have that conversation of, okay, nigga, we boyfriend, girlfriend, what's that? Then we'll come to that point. But I just feel I just like the pace that we are. It's not too much, but it's not too little. For a while between us, he would give me too little, and I would try to grab the straws that he'll give me and build a house with it. Yet ain't no house. Now there's a first floor, there's a backyard, and the front yard is building. That's where we are. And I'm enjoying it. And I like that he is more emotional and vulnerable with me than I am with him. I like that I have so much control of my emotions. And I'm not saying that in an unhealthy way, but he's not crazy and bam, bitch, he's not like that. But he's more open, and he has shown more of his emotional side to me that makes me feel gives me that moment. And I'm still unwilling to open myself up like that. What's wrong with me? I would like to eventually, maybe, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know anymore. I think ideally it would be nice to be emotional, But then again, no. Like, I just remember the times when I would used to be so emotionally tuned, and how exhausting and how controlled I felt by the person I would like so much, feeling like, oh my gosh, am I good enough? Do they like me enough? Oh my gosh, they saw somebody else. Do they like that other person more? I would feel all these unhealthy feelings that I don't know how to feel in a healthy way about liking somebody. Like, I don't know. And what I like about my Boston Bae is that he is not, like, he doesn't tell me what I need to hear. He's pretty straightforward. He challenges me. He's not afraid to let me know sometimes. And I like that. And be a nigga. Go ahead and rough me off. Fuck. I like that shit. And it just makes me feel like, yeah, this is a man. This is a black man. This is a nigga. That's how I feel. Anyway, I think that what we have is nice. I'm looking forward to what could be in the future. And I feel like it is genuine, because I recognize that he's not someone who is quick with anybody. Like, he wasn't quick with me. He wasn't quick with his last girl, which is his baby mom. And he's not quick to be in a relationship. He's not quick to, wear his heart on his sleeve. He takes his time. And I feel honored that we have been knowing each other for a few years now, and he has taken his time. He hasn't been saying what I want to hear to get me in his pants. I'm just in his pants. There's that. But anyway, it's just so interesting to me, because when we continue to spend more time together and talk and progress with each other, there is truly a progression in how we are. He is more open and more willing to be vulnerable. And so it just shows that he really chooses and takes his time with his relationships. And I feel honored. Like, I feel like, wow, this is someone who is serious and who's genuine. Not no bullshit ass nigga. So I like that. I do like that. I'm gonna say a critique right now, but then I feel like if I say this, it's gonna sound ungrateful. So I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna be grateful. So I'm not gonna say it. I feel bad for even saying that to y'all. My bad. But I'm not gonna say it. So I'm liking where we are now. What does this mean for me living here? And yes, we did have sex. My streak has come to a close, and I finally hit the sheets. And it was amazing. It was really good. And for those who have been listening from the beginning, I've shared earlier on that my sex with him hasn't always been, let's say, pleasing for me. What do I mean by that? He would never eat my pussy. Like, it would he would never, like, go down there. And I remember one time, it was earlier on when we first started talking or dating or whatever, I would kind of gesture his head, nigga, go down, what's up? What we doing? And he would just not put his head down. Nigga would stay up, like, okay. And earlier on, he wasn't very, like, sensual. And he wasn't like, fuck it, thank you, ma'am type of thing. But it wasn't like, we wouldn't make out. Like, we wouldn't, He wouldn't like grab me and look me in my eyes. He wasn't that type of lover. And I'm just like, damn, if this is it with him, why am I still here? Like, I'm not satisfied. I gotta fucking go. Sir, I need you to eat my pussy. Like, nothing else is gonna work for me. Please do that. And you want to act like you're a germaphobe? Like, ooh, so gross. So for a while, not even for a while. We've been knowing each other. Let me say that. We've been knowing each other for 4 years now. 4 years? Almost 5 years now. And just recently, and I'm talking about a few days ago recently, from the time you are hearing this podcast, just a few motherfucking days ago, this nigga ate my pussy. And that was the first time. Progression or I don't know if I should be insulted or no, I don't feel insulted. I don't. I do, and I'm telling y'all, he is a slow he's slow at being vulnerable and being sensual and opening his heart. And so when he finally got down on me, I was like, oh my gosh, this nigga loves me. That was it. That was my confirmation. You know how you just know your nigga, right? You know your dude who you've been talking to for a little while now. You know his mannerisms. You know the way he is. And it's like, okay, if this guy, calls me every night, if he comes to see me before he goes to see his boys or before he goes to see his mama, that's how you know he loves you. This nigga ate me out. That's how I know he loves me. That's it. That's all I needed to know. That was my confirmation. I'm telling you, you may be laughing right now. You may think this is crazy, but that was it for me. That was, you know how you be like, God, give me a sign? That was the sign. That was my sign. God speaks to us in different ways. I'm going to stop. But seriously, that was it for me. And I was like, wow. And it was amazing. It was amazing. I'm like, nigga, you was holding back for 4 years and you came out with this? So I can't wait till the next time. I am full of shit. No, but that was a really great time. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And mind you, he even said it in that moment. He's like, man, you got me so sexual. I'm not like this. I'm like, oh, you're not? Trying to act like I didn't recognize. Of course you're not. This is your first time doing this. I know. Thank you. So, I'm playing it off. And I'm like, egging him on, but letting him know, I appreciate it in a way. So I would say, like, I like the way, you did that, or, talking that shit. And so that was just a nice moment. That was a nice moment. I'm glad. And I already said this to y'all that he would have been the only person who I would stop my streak of closing my legs to these niggas. Because, before him, I was sexless for the past 3 months. And I was like, yeah, ain't nobody in the near future, in the near eyesight, is opening this leg. No, I'm not interested. No. And so, seeing him again and him just being so attentive and so good, like, it was just great. And it wasn't fake good. It wasn't like he was trying to impress me. He was still himself, but he was more vulnerable, more open. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is what I see with him. And I've always said this about him, how I see him as someone who, when he's committed to someone and when he's open to someone, he really holds them down. He really is a strong partner to have. He really is a strong boyfriend, a strong lover to have. And I still believe that, and I see that. And every time we continue to spend more time together, I see that more in him. And it's like I'm seeing all the thoughts that I had about him come into fruition. Ooh, spooky, it's October. But seriously, I do see that. And so it was exciting to finally have, and mind you, I didn't, and I'm still stuck on the fact that he ate me out, but like, I didn't push his head down. He did it on his own. It was just like, oh my gosh, nigga! It was so good. It was so good. Yo. Hey, PT. I was living. Life is to be lived, child. And that was a livable moment. So that was great. I do want to talk quickly about finances. So my dad said a poignant word to me while I was home. I was driving. Well, my dad was driving. I was in the passenger seat, riding. And my dad was saying how, like my mom would kind of complain about finances. And my dad wanted to talk about trips that he would like to go on. We're all talking about going to Haiti. And my dad is more so excited about it than anybody else. Except for me. Like, it's me and my dad who's super excited about it. But, like, it's going to happen. Whether everyone in my family goes or not, me and my dad will be in Haiti 2020. Mark my words. And so, my mom would kind of stress about, like, nous pas gain l'argent, or just about anything. And my dad said something very interesting that I just needed to hear in that moment. He was like, look, I get it. We have like our financial issues and, we're not rich. Sometimes we're broke or whatever, but life is short and I want to just live life. I want to just still go on trips. I still want to have fun and make the best out of it. And when he said all that, I was just sitting there soaking it in like, wow, that is it. Life is to be lived. It's not to be stressed, and there will always be some stress to be stressed over. There will always be something in life that could and that should stress you out just naturally. If you're a human being, of course you're going to be stressed about finances. Of course you're going to be stressed about a bill that you're overdue about or whatever. But life should still be lived. I don't think we should ever get to a point in our life that we allow our finances to disturb our will to live. It is important for us to live, because at the end of the day, whenever your time is up, wouldn't you would rather have had fun and did whatever you wanted to do to enjoy life rather than stress about this bill and that bill that you stressing about doesn't pay it any further, right? It doesn't change the circumstance. And yes, you could argue, well, stress could motivate you to think creatively or innovate and figure out alternative ways to combat that stress. And absolutely, that's true. I also say, while doing so, live your life. While doing so, enjoy life. Thrive. Survive. Not just survive, but thrive. I want you to thrive. And I'm saying this out loud for myself, because I do find myself sometimes still stressed about X, Y, and Z. And my responsibility is to be happy. And if stressing about something is not making me happy, how can I go back to happy? What's the next route to take to get to happy? And that's my priority in life. Now, that doesn't mean I shouldn't figure out ways to be innovative and make more money and this and that. That is still being worked on. That is still being figured out. But ultimately, I choose happy. And so I encourage you all to do the same. Choose happy. Choose life. choose joy, because life is short and it's really scary. I think about all of these random killings that's happening. There was just a recent killing that happened in Fort Worth, Texas, by another foolish Dallas police officer who killed a woman, a black woman, of course, named Atatiana. No, am I saying her name right? Atatiana Jefferson. Excuse me if I'm saying it wrong. But she was murdered in her own home by a police officer. She was murdered. She was in her late 20s, I think 26 or 28. Young woman who still had her whole life ahead of her, but was cut short. And it saddens me to see that life is really not promised. And at this day and age, and even back then, like in the 60s, in the 30s, in slavery years, life could have been cut short, and life was cut short many a times. But it's scary to see that in this day and age still. It's scary to see that racism is still rampant and there is still no justice for it. I'm still upset that the last case of a Dallas police officer unlawfully killing an unarmed black person hardly got the accountability that she needed to receive for her actions. It saddens me to think that we live in this world that you have to be cautious and walk on eggshells in your own home to preserve your life. Boham Jean was eating ice cream on his couch in his apartment when he got killed. Atatiana Jefferson was in her home watching her nephew when she got killed. For what? For being black. For being another unarmed, unloved, unprotected, on everything black person here in America. And so we need to live a life that is full, because you don't know when your time is up. And not to sound scary, I know it's like, it's getting to Halloween. I'm not trying to spook anybody out. And I'm trying not to spook myself out, but this is coming out. And it pains me when you have people like, Whoopi's pissing me off. Look, Whoopi's pissing me off. By the time you are listening to this episode, yesterday's episode of The View showed that it is so dangerous to use the rhetoric of all lives matter when it comes to anything about black brutality, black senseless killing by white police officers. It is so dangerous when people use the rhetoric of all lives matter because it diminishes the disproportional brutalities, systematic racism, systematic oppression done to black people. We have to be specific when we talk about this. We can't say things like, oh, well, Asian people and Russian people. And no, you don't hear about yet another Russian unarmed woman attacked in her home while eating ice cream. You don't hear yet another Korean man in Starbucks being harassed. You don't hear that. But yet you hear a black man, a black woman, time and time again. We have to stop using this rhetoric of all lives matter, because it doesn't. If all lives matter, black lives should be included in that, right? That's all. If we know our words mean things. If all lives matter, black life is included in that. So the reason why there's Black Lives Matter, because For so long in our history, not just the past few years, but in our history, it has been clear that Black lives do not matter. It has been clear that many Black people are every Black person is subject, but I'm saying there have been many cases of Black people being subjected to police brutality, to killings, to injustice in the criminal system, to systematic racism. It is too clear of this horrible statistic. It is too clear. So when Whoopi Goldberg is on The View talking about, oh, well, it's not a specific issue. It's, this could happen to an Asian person. This could happen to so-and-so. No, she's being a racist apologist. She is apologizing for the racism that is so clear by making it an all lives matter issue. And we have to stop doing that. We have to call it out, and we have to be specific. I don't care how scary the person may act, and I don't care how delusional the person may behave when you call them out on it, but you have to do it. So I just salute Sunny on The View for being 100, for being clear and making it clear that, look, time and time again, it's Black people who are mistreated, who are killed, and who continue to get the short end of the stick when it comes to this racism shit. Obviously, Asians and Middle Easterners experience racism. Duh! Obviously. But the point is, Black people are disproportionately more brutalized than any other race. More oppressed than any other race. And it's not about, oppression Olympics. I'm not trying to debate with you on who's more oppressed. I'm more oppressed. You're more, it's not a fucking contest. It's not fun. But we have to be clear in how we speak. So we can't keep on allowing language like all lives matter to continue. We have to call it out, and we have to be frank about it. Okay? I'm sick of Whoopi being all fucking just political about it. I feel like she's doing that to preserve the relationships that she may have with some people in the industry. And I think that's fucked up. I also feel like Whoopi's at that age where she's a little delusional. But either way, call it out. So shout out to Sunny. I know she's listening. I'm going to end it here. This was a great episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please continue to support. Leave a comment. Send your topic suggestions, listener letters to godbuiltthis@gmail.com, and I will check in with y'all next time. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of God Built This podcast with your host, Maxine. Be sure to follow and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud, and also leave a comment. God bless.